What's up, guys? Come across a video this morning that I wanted to share with you. Made me laugh. But it's the Prime Minister of Israel, the one who's responsible for the genocide of the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip and elsewhere, and men, women, children, everybody killed, dead for ethnic cleansing and for some property that they want to build some real estate on. Anyhow, this is Benjamin Netanyahu, and he begins to quote some Bible scripture. And then a few minutes later, I don't know how long passed between him and what happens, but I'm going to share the screen with you and let you hear it from him first.
As the book of Samuel says in the Bible, Netzach Israel lo yishaker. The eternity of Israel will not falter.
It is the same Bible that tells us in the stories of the Old Testament.
Okay, so you see what happened. He quotes some Bible scripture. Let's go over what he says one more time.
Netzach Israel lo yishaker. The eternity of Israel will not falter.
It is
The eternity of Israel will not falter. And then this lady you see from Barbados right there, she's fixing to be at the mic, and she has a few comments.
the same Bible that tells us in the stories of the Old Testament, much which has guided many people across this world. But when we turn from the Old Testament to the New Testament, it is Romans that says to us, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, not any country, not any human being. So that the Bible can't be used as a convenient aid when it suits us and rejected when it doesn't.
Yeah, how you like those? How you like those apples, Netanyahu? Well, I'll tell you what, that girl, she needs to find a place to hide, or she'll be genocided.
Mr. President, above all else, we need a global reset on peace. There needs to be global peace. And those of us who are old enough would have recognized that there are peaks and valleys as it relates to this issue of conflict.
She goes on to say a lot more, but I wanted to share that part with you. This next video I want to share with you. Let me get it prepped here real quick. It's from the Epstein files, and it's now the Epstein files. They 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 put the on the justice.gov /Epstein. They put the Epstein files for us to be able to look at, but they've been redacted. And then there was some stuff on uh on TikTok where guys were saying, well, the PDF files that don't go anywhere, if you change them to an MP4 file, that you can open them up. And I thought, bullshit. But I went and looked, and he was right. And so anyway, I made a little program so that I could get to those files. And out of all those files, it seemed to me that they're not the files that we would have found on the island of the rooms of where these sexual encounters, these rapes, all this stuff that's supposed to have happened had taken place, whether it was there on the island Zorro Ranch or in New York in his little luxury apartment hotel thingy, whatever he had up there, his house, his mansion. I was expecting to see videos where may have been a camera up in a corner of a room, and it's still that wasn't what I found at all. It seemed to me that the majority of those PDF files were there was a lot of them that was jail cell files from that same jail cell where we saw him serving time. But it looked like there was a couple of other, like a hallway with some doors, and then a guard station too, that was part of those files. But later on in those same files, there was files of video, and there was some sexual stuff. There was some porn stuff. It was all blocked out where you couldn't see, and if it was sexual sounding, it was redacted. The audio was redacted as well. But everything from some young or small frame ladies and things like that you could tell by their feet or what little you might see, but it was all redacted, big blocks usually where you couldn't see anything. But my point is this: there were some videos in there that it made me think that since it wasn't from Zorro Ranch, Epstein Island, or his New York penthouse or whatever it was, that these must be the files that they found on his phone and on some of his, his iPad, his laptop, some of his personal items, because there just wasn't enough to that I went through. I didn't see enough of the kind of stuff that I would have expected to see on Epstein Island. Um, and there were a lot of files that I couldn't get to. I just couldn't figure out what the suffix was for, whether it was JPEG or movie MP4 or whatever, because there's so many formats, and I tried all kinds of things. But anyway, I came across this video, and the interesting thing to me is that this video was on Jeffrey Epstein's phone, probably, that it when they took him into custody, this was on his phone. This and it's I'll let it do its own talking or whatever, but you'll get it's just the fact that it would have been something that he held on to amazes me. And I'll probably have to either blot this out after the fact, or I'll have to block part of this out because it's got some. I had to slow it down to see if it was what I think it is, and it is. It looks real.
This girl has been raped, and the man who took advantage of her is to be punished in public as a warning to others. In this country, thieves have their hands cut off, spies their tongues cut out, and rapists.
All right, I paused it there. I don't think you can see anything yet, and I am going to move this video over the top of this, so maybe you won't be able to see it, and I won't have to block it out. I hope I got it.
أنا والد البنت المسروقة أريد المحكمة أن يعاقب المجرم.
Yep, that's what you thought it was, and it got cut off. But I was amazed that that was on his phone, because he knew that he was into all that, and for him to find that funny, maybe I don't know why would he keep that on his phone? Um, I, Let me pause, see if I want to make sure that I didn't allow y'all to see what it showed. All right, looks like I cut it out pretty good. Anyhow, if you want to know what I was talking about with these files, here's how it goes. So if you go to you can't see the URL where you're at, but at the top it says www.justice.gov/Epstein. And normally you'll have to hit I'm 18, I'm not a robot, and I'm 18 years old or older. And it'll come up to this Epstein library. And down here at the bottom, this is what they talked about on TikTok. If you type in no images, you could stop there and just type that, or no images produced, which is what I'm going to type, which is what I use. In search, you'll see that you'll come up with 3,792 results. And if you see, they are all PDF. And this first one, it didn't work for me, and I haven't figured out that suffix yet. But anyway, here's how it goes. You're going to press that. It's going to open up. It says no images produced. Then up at the top in the URL where it says .pdf, you get rid of the .pdf and you change it to MP4, which is just a different type of image. And as you can see, that's the jail cell that we see where Epstein was at. Now if you was to go through, there's many of these that are jail cell related. And there's three different views that I found. There's that view, then there's a view of like a guard station. I'm assuming it's the same complex. And then there's another view of a hallway with many doors. And it's hours long, hours and hours of video. But if you scroll through all those 3,000 files, eventually you're going to come across a lot of other files. But the problem is you have to click on every file, and when it opens up, you have to tell it not a PDF, it's a MP4, and also .mov works sometimes, and also .avi. Those are the ones that I found that work. the suffixes. So I wrote a little program, and I'm going to include this uh, somehow or another. I've got to make this where y'all can get to it, but I'll show you what I did. Let me find my. Okay, here's my program, or this is what's after my program was written. But you can see this is the results of my program. So as you can see, these are all the files. There's thousands of them, and not all of them go somewhere. I mean, they all go somewhere, but they could be completely redacted, taken offline, or whatever. But I'll press one so you can see what happens. Okay, so here's a video of something, and a lot of them, the audio is redacted, just like on this one. And normally, I guess that would have told us who that person was, and they didn't want the audio in there. Usually, the audio is redacted because of some sexual content, heavy breathing, whatever. And let me show you another one. I'll back up. How did I get that? Where am I at? Get out of there. Try here. Play. So these are all without audio. You can hear the audio cuts on and off at the very beginning and end. And there's some pretty nasty looking. That one's not there. Let me keep looking. Trying to find you something to give you an idea of what's on there. Like this one maybe. That's totally redacted. I mean, top to bottom, and the audio. Um, it's kind of like, why is this even on their website? I have no idea who this is for. Not for us, but not all of them are redacted that much. Um, there's one that I don't have the suffix for. This is bad. Looks like a small kid. What does it say? Hmm. It's not my language, whatever it is. Somebody can help me out. All right, so those are the kind of weird shit. You've got some where uh, women are dancing in front of his office desk. There's just a lot of stuff. Let me try to find another one. God, let's go this way. I wish I had the suffix to whatever some of these other files are. I may need to go back and rewrite the program to try some. I think we already seen. Yeah, we seen that one. Let me go back further. It's like, oh, what the hell? Audio is redacted as well. This is why I thought it might be stuff that was on his phone, because there's a lot of weird files like that that just don't make any sense. Anyway, you get the idea of the kind of stuff that's on there. And there's some spicy ass shit on there. There's nothing that you can go, oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, I haven't been through every file, and there's a lot of suffixes that I can't get to. But anyhow, that's I'm gonna leave this link that I created so that these files are easier to get to. And maybe if some of you can figure out what that other suffix is that needs to be changed, I can run it back through the program and add that to it so it opens up. But anyhow, thank y'all. Bye.